Hey guys, it's Joel from Joel Reviews here to review Star Wars Episode 8. Finally, the hype is over because it's finally here. So how was Star Wars Episode 8? So here we go! The beginning of the movie starts out with a normal crawl, rising up, and puts you into the action, which is amazing. It felt like a good Star Wars crawl, like the original movie crawls. It's awesome. And then it puts you into a space battle where you finally get to meet Poe and Finn again. Yes, I love these two characters, and their dynamic together is amazing. And also Leia's on that ship, and it's just epic. And then you get to the Rey and Luke part, which is the best part of this film. Luke and Rey, that dynamic is just spectacular. It really feels like Yoda and Luke all over again in this movie. It feels like episode 5 and episode 8 and had a baby. It was awesome. And then you have a scene where two characters meet, Finn and Rose. And both characters, I really do not like this dynamic. I really do not like this characterization, especially of Finn. They're not yin and yang. They're very much anti-yin and yang. It's horrendous. It feels like a prequel moment when these two are on screen, and especially with the world that they have to go to save the Rebel Alliance. You will understand when you see this. It feels so out of place for this movie. And it goes into details on a subject matter that is very relevant in the world today, but should not be in the Star Wars movie. I'm sorry. It should not be here. And at the very end of the movie, it intervenes with that too. It should just... It should not have been here. At all. Then we have another dynamic when we go back and see Rey and Luke again. It's fantastic. And the dynamic with Rey and the villain, Mr. Kylo Ren, their dynamic is very epic. And from the trailers, you get that it's going to be very epic and it's going to be in your face. It's lovely. It's amazing. Especially when they're not together and yet you can still feel the tension. It's great. It's a dynamic that's amazing. These two characters do an amazing job of acting. And the relationship between Snoke and Kylo Ren, that's, again, it's hit and miss. It is not altogether there, and really the way they deal with this situation that Kylo Ren is facing does not really end in the way I think it should have. And it really bummed me out. It really made me very confused and not really happy with what happens. But let's move on from that. We get past the space battle and down to a base. And this is where the action happens. This is where you see the best moments of this film. You see the best performances. You see Luke and Leia together. That's amazing. And Leia, bless her heart, R.I.P. Carrie Fisher, 3 Seconds of Peace. Their dynamic is amazing. It felt like Han and Leia from The Force Awakens. It was great to see them back together on screen again. And Luke does his best performance here. It's amazing. Kylo Ren and Luke Skywalker, their dynamic was fantastic. It was worth watching that moment alone. It was fantastic. That little red space scene or planet scene that you saw from the trailers, that's pretty epic. Now, one of the aspects of Star Wars is the lightsaber battle. As you can tell from my other reviews, I didn't even talk about the lightsaber duel. There's not really a good lightsaber duel here. It's not that great. There's aspects of it that are good. There's some scenes that are good with the lightsaber, and then there's others that, It felt very much, I don't know how to describe it. It's, I don't know what happened. You have awesome technology. You should have been able to make a great lightsaber duel, and it just doesn't happen here. I don't know what they were trying to go for, but I did not like it. And John Williams, again, remember what I said in The Force Awakens? It felt kind of rushed. It wasn't as good as the other Star Wars music. And at the time, he was sick. So I can ignore it for that movie. But there was still heart-wrenching, amazing musical ties to that film. It felt amazing to listen to. This movie, on the other hand, has some great moments. But it's not rushed, and it doesn't feel as good as any of the other Star Wars movies. Yes, it's better than Rogue One, but John Williams did not write Rogue One. He wrote all the other Star Wars movies, and they're better than this one in the music aspect, which was kind of depressing. Another thing that felt kind of weird is that some of the CGI felt like it was taken from episode 1 and pushed onto this movie. There are some very horrible looking CGI moments, and you can tell, especially with the first scene that happens, there's some spotty CGI. And Luke in some of the flashbacks looks not Luke-ish. Punny. He didn't look like Luke in some of those, so it's 2017, folks. It should look a little bit better. Anyway, this movie is good, but I'm very disappointed. I really need to think about this movie a lot more. I'm going to give it a 7.5 right now out of 10. It's better than the prequel movies, for sure. It's better than Rogue One, for sure. But it's not better than the original trilogy or The Force Awakens. So let's rate the Star Wars movies now. 2, 1, 3, Rogue One. The Last Jedi. Episode 4, A New Hope. Then I'm going to do The Force Awakens, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back. This movie is not as good as Empire Strikes Back. It's not as good as the original trilogy. It's not as good as Episode 7. It's not as good as what I was expecting, but it's still a good Star Wars movie. And I hope Episode 9 blows us out of the water so we still have a good trilogy. See you guys next time. Please like and subscribe.